Time now is 19 minutes past 8. Changes to the rules on claiming compensation could mean some victims of crimes will lose out on cash payments. That's according to some solicitors.
Yes, the government says the compensation scheme must be targeted at those who need it most, but it's led to concern that people with minor injuries won't get a payment.
With us now is Dane Smith, who won compensation after he was attacked in the street. Also here is his solicitor, Jeanette Miller, who specialises in personal injury cases. Good morning, both of you.
Morning.
Dane, could you just, first of all, just bring us up to date on what happened to you? Where were you? What happened?
It was my 21st birthday. Decided to pop to the pub, a couple of mates, have a couple of drinks, at which point then we thought that we'd pop back home and continue drinking at home. We left the pub and then got attacked by numerous youths with balaclavas, baseball bats, iron bars, just on the streets. I came out of it with a broken jaw and my mate had 14 staples in his head. Which
obviously very traumatic, and you applied for compensation through the scheme, and what was the result of that?
I eventually got £2,000, which obviously helped towards some kind of closure towards what had happened, and Jeanette thankfully pursued that for me.
Jeanette, under the new, if it does change in the way that MPs are proposing, would Dane have got that compensation or not?
No, he would fall in the category of minor injury that the government are seeking to completely dispense with. So at the moment there are 25 bands of injury, and the scheme is already, in my view, unfair. If you're involved in a car accident and you suffer the injury that Dane did, he would have got probably double the amount. Whereas under the CICA, the Criminal Injuries Compensation Authority scheme, he is allowed to get a fixed amount. Under the new proposals, minor injuries, levels 1 to 5 of 25 levels, will no longer be entitled to any compensation at all.
Now, is the theory, the government is proposing that the amount of money, the pot, if you like, remains the same. So the logic of that would mean that possibly, some people will argue correctly, those who suffered the worst crimes would get more. Is that how you understand it?
It is. I think we were talking before, it's a bit confusing because on the one hand they're saying they need to make savings, and then on the other they're saying, well, the people most seriously injured will not be affected. In my understanding, that's 9% at the moment of people that claim compensation will be unaffected. But there will be an awful lot of people who, through no fault of their own, have been the victim of a pretty horrific crime, and there's no compensation, no way of them getting back on their feet, really. And yes, they might have been injured at a minor level, but the scheme has been there since the 60s, and I think to do away with it in this way is just grossly unfair.
Dane, just you got the £2,000, and you said it sort of provided closure, but it wasn't just that, was it? Because presumably when you had your jaw broken, that had an impact on your work. I know you're working with your mum and dad, weren't you? But I mean, could you go to work?
There was a lot of time off, obviously hospital appointments. When I originally went to the hospital, they didn't diagnose me with the broken jaw. It was only a week or two later that I managed to go through to a different hospital that they actually diagnosed me with the broken jaw. So there was a lot of time off for appointments, and obviously I had to go back for x-rays, etc, etc. So yeah, there was a lot of time off work, which helped me to bring some of that money back.
And Jeanette, for those of, I mean, a lot of us don't know that much about the system, but is the idea, the principle of it, say in Dane's case, is it sort of compensation for it happening at all, or is the money you get related to, for example, time off work, or so, you know, actual cost, or is it a payment that is, if you like, given to you because of something bad that's happened to you?
You're compensated for the injuries that you suffer, but the scheme at present sets an amount for different types of injury. So £2,000 for a broken jaw, or £1,000 for a broken finger, that kind of thing. There is a possibility to claim loss of earnings at the moment. This is another part of the proposals which is grossly unfair.
Separate from the compensation scheme?
Yes, but at the moment only if you've been off work for 28 weeks, so 6 months. So if you've been off work for a couple of months, there's no way of you getting any loss of earnings back, whereas under a usual claim with insurance companies there is. Now the scheme, the proposals are to reduce that loss of earnings payment, not to what the average earnings of the victim would have been before, but to the statutory sick pay amount of £85 a week. So using your example, Louise, you would get £85 a week if you were unable to work for at least 6 months.
OK, thank you both very much. And as we said a little bit earlier, MPs will be discussing that today. Thank you.